Welcome inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, man. I've been sitting at home, man. I was bored, man. I've been bored, man. I've been missing you guys. So I said, man, we got to do something. We got to do a special edition of the Hall of Fame, bring it to the people and give the people what they want, man. That's what we're about. And I just felt like if we missed this week, we would miss out on some good stuff, man. So definitely, man, we're here to talk about it. I'm sitting here watching the Tour Championships right now. Patrick Cantley is still ahead, third round in the Tour Championship. Still got one more day. So I'm locked in, man. I'm locked in. What about yourself, man? How you feel today?
Y'all feeling good, Book? It's Labor Day weekend. We have a big show for reality wrestling tomorrow. Looking forward to that. But I was like you, we were talking before we went on the air, and sitting at home, it just doesn't feel right. Just sitting doing nothing. You know, time is money, and we could be putting that time toward money, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
So I'm liking the Saturday vibe today for the Hall of Fame.
You know, the thing is too, there's no real comeback going on tonight, but the Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley fight will be aired on Showtime tonight. So I think 9 o'clock or something like that. Get a chance, check it out. I didn't get a chance to see it live. I saw the clip, so I probably tune in tonight just to see exactly what went down. Because Woodley said, "Man, I won that fight." Tyron Woodley said, "I won that fight. I deserve a rematch." But Jake Paul said, "If you get the tattoo, we'll do the rematch." What do you think about the tattoo? What do you think about the tattoo?
He has the tattoo. I love Jake Paul, right?
Yeah. I love Jake Paul somewhere on his body.
Well, I guess it would depend where to a certain extent. I think it's silly. Would you ever get another man's name tattooed on you?
Well,
for a rematch, that reeks of desperation.
Perhaps, but Woodley perhaps could be desperate for another huge check. And the thing is, look here, when it's a huge check, everybody's desperate.
What was the check? How much are we talking about? Like, how much money would it take for you to tattoo some other man's name on you?
The thing is this. Woodley, from what I'm hearing, from what's out there, on the grapevine, is Tyron Woodley made more money in this fight than any UFC appearance that he's ever had.
Sure.
So
that's what I heard too.
So that right there tells me, hey, I'm desperate for another one of those. You know what I'm saying? And I'm desperate real quick. And if I got to get a tattoo to make it happen, I love Jake Paul. Damn it, I'll go ahead and get the tattoo because I can always cover it up. I can always get it removed. And that check, with that check, it's going to be very, very easily, possibly, to get that done.
Yes, it is. And sorry, we're having a troll in our chat, so please, everybody watching right now, report that troll so we can get them on out of here. But to me though, I think Dana White said this. Dana White said everyone always talks about how they're making more money than they ever made in their UFC career, but they're never saying what the number is. Like, they don't reveal it. They're just saying, "Well, I'm making more than I have ever made," but they never say what it is. So I don't know. I don't know exactly how much Tyron made, and we'll never know because Conor McGregor still says he made like $80 million for the Khabib fight or something like that. We'll never know exactly how much these guys make, but nevertheless, I don't think there's a dollar figure on planet Earth that would give me to put a tattoo of someone else's name.
Bruh, come on now. I mean, people always say, man, would you fight Mike Tyson for $1 million? Most people say,
as long as it was a work.
Well, most people say, yeah. Most people say, yeah, I'll do it. But the thing is, there again, man, if it's a simple tattoo, something you can get removed. It's not something that's that's gonna scar you as far as make you like, man, my manhood just went out of the window there. I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, it's about getting a check and saying, hey man, let's move on. And the thing is, this look at it this way. Tyron Woodley actually, a lot of people think he won the fight.
Well, if you score that one round a 10-8, because if the ropes weren't there, he would have fallen. I mean, Jake Paul would have been knocked down. You know what I'm saying? So if you count that as a 10-8,
just think about this. If Jake Paul, if the ropes wouldn't have been there, Jake Paul would have fell through the ropes perhaps on the back of his head and knocked himself out.
Yeah. It could have been a wrap for old Jake Paul pretty early on. I don't know. But the thing is, I'm not really interested in the fight again. I'm falling out of interest overall with Jake Paul fights until he fights an actual boxer. Then I'll be intrigued. Then I'll say, you know what? Because you and I both said the guy's got some natural ability, and I still feel that way. I feel like he has a natural ability, but I don't think that that when he steps up in competition with a guy who's been boxing his entire life from the amateur ranks, boxing in the gym with his dad since he was 12 years old, right? And done his amateur fights and now is in, a pro boxer. I don't think that Jake Paul is going to be able to sustain his winning streak against somebody like that, even a guy who's considered a low level boxer.
Hey man, I don't know. Like I say, I'm not going to count Jake Paul out or anything like that. I'm not going to say this guy can't rise to the level of being a pretty good fighter. People look at Deontay Wilder, a guy who started fighting very, very late in his career and in life, rather, and then he went on to become the heavyweight champion of the world. So my thing is, it's possible for Jake Paul to actually do very, very well in the sport of boxing. Not having an amateur career, that's one thing that's going to hurt him, of course. How far is he going to go as far as this thing goes? We're going to find out.
We shall, Book. We shall find out. There is no combat on tonight. And you know what? What's weird is I haven't even seen a big UFC card come. There's one coming up that's stacked, but we haven't had one, I feel like, since the Houston show to really talk about on this on the Hall of Fame.
It's because there's no real players in the UFC right now. We talk about that all the time as far as the star power in the UFC is dwindled over the years, and it's dwindled, very, very quickly. On the Tito Ortizes of the world, of guys that made the company entertaining, made it fun to watch. Those guys are gone now. Only thing we get now in the UFC is guys that go out and fight. Just like just watching it last week, Edson Barbosa back inside the octagon, a guy who is well past his prime, and go out there and get the hell beat out of him. Come on. That's what it's about in the UFC, though. It's about the fight. It's not about the character anymore, I think.
But check this out. Coming up on UFC 268, so this isn't until November. But first off, there's no way this fight card will stay together because it's just so stacked. And you know how UFC shows go, that we never see everybody who's announced actually make it to the card. But look at who all we have here for this card. This is UFC 268. The main event, Kamaru Usman defending his title against Colby Covington. Yeah. Then you have Rose Namajunas defending her title against Weili Zhang. Then you have Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Sean Strickland versus Luke Rockhold, Jermaine Durandame versus Irene Aldana, Frankie Edgar taking on Marlon Vera, and Al Iaquinta versus Bobby Green. That's a hell of a card right there.
Yeah. At least four of those guys are gonna get COVID.
At least. We're not wishing it on them, but the way that everything's been going.
It seemed like the thing. I mean, Oscar De La Hoya is supposed to be fighting this weekend. That was supposed to be the big thing going on.
You heard who's stepping in for Oscar.
No, who's that?
This is what was announced, and I'll verify its authenticity. But Evander is supposed to be stepping in.
I heard it was a possibility that
there's a possibility.
I didn't see nothing confirmed, no confirmation on that or anything like that. As far as Evander Holyfield stepping in, and the thing is, I don't think that would be a good fight for Evander. Against Vitor Belfort. That's not a good matchup for Evander right now. Evander needs somebody of his age first and foremost. Okay, his I wouldn't say fighting skills, ability, or anything like that, but definitely age wise. If you want to fight one of these MMA guys, make sure it's somebody like Randy Couture. You know what I mean?
Somebody who matches up with you age-wise.
You feel me on that right there? No, I'm not trying to throw him under the bus or anything like that, but I would not want to see Evander Holyfield go out there and get hurt by one of these guys. Match him with Mike Tyson. I mean, I would want to see that. Holyfield, Mike Tyson, one more time.
Yeah, That would be the fight to make. I don't know if I'm trying to find out right now if Evander is he actually going to fight? Yeah, I'm trying to find it. It looked like it was supposed to be, but oh no, it's still scheduled. It's actually official. According to MMAfighting.com, Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort will be taking place September the 11th and will be emanating from Florida, the great state of Florida. That is announced by MMAfighting.com.
Wow. Wow. I mean, it's crazy, man. You see, what do you think about Oscar, man? You see the photos of him in the hospital? He looked pretty bad.
I did. It looked bad. It didn't look great. It didn't look great. And that's the thing. I feel like we've been talking about it like everybody has for the last several years, 2 years plus now. But this Delta now is getting frightening, right? Everybody's coming down with this Delta.
Hey, Joe Rogan, he looked pretty bad too, man. I tell you, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looked pretty bad as far as in the video. He said he kicked out of it, but he still looked like he was still, feeling the effects of it, And I tell you, man, being vaccinated, you can still get it. Oscar say he was fully vaccinated, and he still got it, and he was still feeling like he was, pretty down the dumpster. And like I say, Joe Rogan said he was throwing up and whatnot for a couple of days as well with that variant, man. So I tell you, be careful out there, man. Be careful out there. Make sure you mask up and get that sanitizer and put it on your hands as much as you possibly can, because this shit is bad. But that's another story. We got a lot of stuff we want to talk about. Like I say, Adam Cole, the linchpin was the Twitch channel. He had to get up out of there. The new NXT. I want to see exactly what that's all about. I like the new logo. Is that
cool?
Is that Wale doing the rap, throwing the track down?
Yeah.
So that right there is cool for me right there. So I definitely want to talk about Ric Flair, Orange Cassidy. That right there was a cool moment. Guys, stick around. We'll be right back in about 1 minute.
This is Booker T World Gym Arena in Texas City, the home to the Reality of Wrestling Training Center. It's a 20,000 square foot facility with more than 50 full-time students and wrestlers from around the world. Inside the World Gym Arena sits a 9,000 square foot venue set up for weekly shows. From up top, 1-2 moonsault! Where our students showcase their skills in front of a live audience.
What he's done here is awesome. He's created opportunity, and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
In the back, a full weight room.
6 up!
Complete with state-of-the-art equipment and personal trainers.
There you go. Two more.
A full staff and office personnel.
One more.
Running the day-to-day operation. We have interview sets for TV production, promo classes, quarterly combines. We evaluate progression and team building. Referees, commentators, ring announcers, and live television production. At the World Gym Arena, we don't just teach you how to become a professional wrestler, but an elite sports entertainer. This is Reality of Wrestling.
So the Young Bucks, I had heard about these guys, but I didn't know them or anything like that. And they had a WWE tryout, and these two guys, they were hanging in the hallways. It seemed like they were, I don't know, they were kind of like off to themselves. I don't know. It just felt funny. And I was getting ready to do I was doing commentating back then, and I had my jacket, laid over this, piece of equipment, and I walked by, and one of the Young Bucks was leaning on my jacket, and I was like, "Hey, bro, that's my jacket right there," and he goes, "Oh, okay," I got my jacket and I walked off, and I was like, I didn't realize it, but they were there for a tryout, and I was like, man, after I realized it, I said something on one of the podcasts or our show or something. These guys didn't even shake my hand, and then next thing you know, it was a big thing going around as far as me not shaking the Young Bucks' hand. And then they started doing a thing online to where, they wouldn't shake anybody's hand, and then, they had a thing with RVD, where they wouldn't shake RVD's hand. So I was like, man, you know what I mean? These guys are taking this thing to another level. Can't wait to see them. So I wanted to fight the Young Bucks. I want to get it to them.
You want to put hands on them.
I want to put hands on them.
Put those Fifth Ward beads on them.
Yeah. And we ended up running into each other at an independent show. And I'm still a little bit hot, And, so we end up talking and whatnot. And, we end up getting back around to what happened up in WWE as far as my jacket goes. And they go, bro, reason we didn't say anything to you, man, you're intimidating. Sucker! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Adam Cole. What do you think about this, man? Adam Cole said his Twitch channel is something that he was not going to part with, and that was the linchpin as far as perhaps him not re-signing with WWE. What do you think about that?
Well, we know that this has been somewhat of an issue for some people on the roster. If you remember, Thea Trinidad, also known as Zelina Vega, they had a discrepancy about the Twitch channel and the there was it wasn't OnlyFans. It was, what was the ones that everybody was doing? What were those videos called? Cameo. Everyone was doing, and she actually ended up, I think they parted ways for several months before they were able to reach an agreement again to come back. There was the mandate that came from up top about this particular issue. So I know that you can make great money on those sites, especially Twitch. So I'd understand not letting it go. And my thing is this. If it's not hurting your overall television show in any way, and it's a different entity altogether, sort of like this YouTube channel is, and all it's doing is creating more awareness for you and the brands that you represent, I think it's a good thing. It's like the UFC. And there's just my comparison, but it's like the UFC coming to Joe Rogan and saying, hey, this podcast that you got, we know it's pretty popular, but, we don't like some of the stuff that you're saying. We need you to shut it down. Joe Rogan's going to be like, well, I'm making a lot of money from this. And it's, me being a bigger celebrity and more well-known only helps the product. It doesn't hurt it. That's just one way to look at it. So I can see if Adam Cole said, look, this is a big deal to me. This is going to be the line in the sand that I draw. And if you're not willing to go with that, then I am willing to take my ball and go home. If that is the case, I can understand that thinking.
Me too. My thing is, if it ain't hurting nobody, like you say, it shouldn't be a problem. And my thing is, I want my talent to make as much money as they possibly can. I want these guys to live in the biggest houses that they possibly can get. And be able to help as many people as they possibly can, especially your family members. You want to be able to put yourself in a position to where when somebody needs something, they know who to call. I've been that way in my family for a long time. Hey, call Junior. we'll get it done. But definitely, I totally understand where he would be coming from, and I'm not mad at him at all. On the only thing I'm thinking about is, man, it seemed like that would have been a situation that we could have fixed.
Yeah,
and again, I'm thinking about my team. I'm thinking about the guys on my team, and keeping the guys on the team happy more than anything. Because that's one thing that I remember from back in the day is it was no animosity towards stuff like that. We didn't have that kind of problem right there in the locker room. The harmony of the locker room was always cool. Right now, it seemed like there's so much going on there again with the Twitch channel, the Cameo, the company having certain certain stipulations were, hey, we need it done and we need it done this way. And the thing is, I understand from both sides because I got reality of wrestling. I got a bunch of young guys. But if my young guys came to me and said, hey, Book, I'm making some money with this Twitch channel, I'm going to say, hey, man, how much you making with it? He said, man, I'm making, some really good money with it. Keep it rolling. That seemed like the way something like that would go. But I don't know. Like I said, with Adam Cole, I know the guy's talent. I know, like I said, as far as having a guy on my team, Adam Cole is going to be one of those guys that I really want to keep on my team. There again, will he be a huge asset somewhere else? Of course. Would he be happy working alongside of his wife? Man, come on. That's a no-brainer to be able to go home together at the same time when you get off work, be able to spend time with each other, having two totally different schedules in one company and the other. That right there could be taxing in itself. So it's a lot of things Adam Cole got to think about as far as his future go. But I'm sure he's going to make the right decision.
And I think that I would give Adam Cole also the same advice I think that you gave. I think it was Daniel Bryan right when he became a free agent is there's no rush on this. The longer that you kind of sit it and wait, the more of a hot commodity, in my opinion, you become because people are going to want to see Adam Cole in a ring and you can help drive your price up a little bit that way. In my opinion, you help drive your price up. So maybe, hey, let's go work a one shot with New Japan. Let's work a one shot with Ring of Honor. Hey, you know what? I will show up on AEW for a day Impact. I'll play everybody until I really want to figure it out, and get the best deal possible.
As well as coming in, just say for instance, if he was to come into AEW, after CM Punk is, has been, CM Punk news for the last week. And of course, it's rumored Daniel Bryan is going to be, making his debut sometime soon. That's going to be another cycle of news right there when Daniel Bryan make his debut. And I think that to jump in right behind those guys, it can't help you. You know what I mean? A little bit of time, a little bit of space in between, definitely, I think would help him go to Japan, work over there for a little while, and then make a huge Y2J, entrance, like he did back in the day, and pop the whole crowd. So definitely, like I said, I think he's got a bright future.
What do you think about this NXT rebrand and remodel and relaunch on September 14th is the targeted date? There has been rumors on the internets that even Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard, somebody who we're familiar with in the reality wrestling circles, are going to be taking over kind of the overarching production of the show. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and others, Matt Bloom and others still doing a lot of the day-to-day stuff. But what do you think about that rumor?
I'm just curious to see what the new NXT is going to look like. You got a lot of talent down there. You got more talent than you can imagine in that system down there. And I always wondered, what are they going to do with those guys? How are they going to actually use these guys, and not just use them, but get them to a point to where they can move up and because at the end of the day, man, you're trying to make some money. All right, you're trying to create some stars. You don't want these guys to be in NXT forever. All right, so you these guys needs to be trained properly in order to get to that next level. My thing is this, man. I love the NXT system, but the one thing I would push, for that NXT system is, just say for instance, man, let some of those guys come to reality of wrestling. Let some of those guys, go to some of these really, really good camps around the world, and just sit them there for a month, just so they can understand what territorial wrestling really is about. Wrestling in front of different crowds is all about, opposed to just being, under that NXT, system. What's it? The Capital Center,
Capital Wrestling Center. Yeah,
exactly. Just working under that one system. I don't think it would hurt those guys at all. And the money that they're spending, I don't think it would be no more than they're spending already in trying to create better character development as well as wrestling skill working on the fly in front of a crowd. I was just looking at a match earlier with myself and Benoit. It was from the best of 7. And I called a spot to Benoit. I said, hold the ropes and duck. He did the first part. He held the ropes and he didn't duck. And I was coming with my sidekick, and it went right over his head. I mean, I could have kicked him right in the face, but I literally jumped all the way over him. He was standing straight up. And it was my job to see him not ducking and be able to try to make sure I pulled this thing off to where it still looked like, wow, man, the crowd like just was totally blown away. So if we get a clip of it, we definitely show it to you. But that right there for me is something that I learned from, working, so many shows, peeking out of the curtain, watching and seeing what works, being in the middle of the action and being able to decipher exactly what I need to do on a moment's notice, opposed to having to think about it. I say, guys, when you're in one place for 1001, you've been there too long. So it's those type of things that I think that the NXT guys would benefit, training with someone like myself. I think would be so much, so much beneficial for them. Yeah.
I think it would be as well. And here's the other thing I thought about when you think about NXT. The one thing that they're all developing into the superstars they're hopefully going to become, right? But where you learn the most, and I'm sure you could attest to this, when any wrestling veteran today or any superstar I've ever heard give an interview, they always talk about, oh, when I got to work with such and such, then I started to understand it. If you're all learning at the same time and you're learning from the same teachers, and when you're out there, you're wrestling guys who have somewhat of a similar experience level to you, you can't get to that next level of achievement because there's no one in there who's done it at the next highest level. I think that they're really missing a great opportunity because WWE right now has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to talent. There's so many guys and girls on that roster who there's not enough television time to utilize properly. I don't know why you don't maybe use some of those guys down for NXT. Some of these veterans who maybe are on the other side of their career, right? The roller coaster has hit its peak, and we're kind of going on the downswing a little bit.
Are you talking about from a training perspective?
From a training perspective and being on the show.
You know what? That's what I don't agree with that. I don't agree with.
But didn't you say you learned from being in there with guys? Like when you work Ricky Steamboat, when you work Ric Flair, you learned.
Yeah, I did, but it's just such a different era now, and I just don't think the NXT brand grows by having older veterans a part of the company. I think it's about the new guys coming up and getting out there and having their shine. What I do think is, there again, I don't want to throw any shade on any coach or the coaches or anything like that. I just think these guys need to see a lot of different variations of what coaching is, because from myself personally, I'm like a philosopher. I don't have to get in the ring with you to actually work with you. I got to get in your head and try to make you think a certain way. And then when you get in the ring, you do it, or you don't. We'll look at it on film and then we'll talk about it. Sooner or later, you'll pick it up. And I just don't think actually having to be in the ring, just maybe for instance, from a training perspective in the gym, working on scenarios, but actually being in front of the crowd doing it, I just don't think that does anything for NXT, but make NXT just another, edition of what SmackDown and what Raw is.
Well, I understand that point, and I agree with it to a certain extent. I think that with the problem with NXT is you have to look at it from two different perspectives. One, you have to look at it as a training facility for your next generation. The other side of it, though, it is a television show that they're getting paid millions of dollars every year to put on a weekly basis. So if you can't just have a television show full of guys who people don't really know on a national level, it kind of reminds me of when before it was NXT, it was ECW, right? And when ECW had its relaunch under WWE, they had a bunch of young names on there. John Morrison was one of the young names. CM Punk was one of the young names. There were several guys over there. And what did they do? They brought in Chris Benoit. They brought in Kurt Angle and Big Show to be on that brand. Three guys who have three different kind of working perspectives all different walks of life, learned all differently, all world traveled, and they put those guys in there with the younger talent, including a Bobby Lashley, to try to help develop them and give the show star power.
I mean, you can look at it that way. But for me personally, I just feel like, when you trying to develop talent to become the next, superstars, it's hard to have, superstars from, coming down to, to work with these guys and for these guys to actually think, well, I'm the superstar. No, they're going to be inferior to those guys just coming down to do that. Myself personally, like I say, there again, I just think the NXT crop of young guys need to be able to have a variation of different ways of looking at scenarios. And that's what I think professional wrestling is. I think it's scenarios and stories. And to be able to create that, you got to just say, for instance, an actor is going to have, so many different, teachers along the way to teach them their craft. And the thing is, those teachers, they didn't actually play in any movies with these guys. They just taught them the craft. They taught them the way they actually need to feel the scene, opposed to actually, just reading the scene, getting the lines. I'm just giving you a scenario there again of the way I think the wrestling mind thinks and learns.
And that's very true. I think I'm also looking at it from the perspective of myself. You can tell me something and you can teach it to me, and I'll kind of understand what you're saying. But then when I see it in action and I'm able to put it in motion and actually physically do it, then it makes sense to me, right? That's how I learn. I have to actually do it in order to learn it. And for me, I guess that's how I'm thinking for the NXT guys. Show me. Let's go out there and you show it to me, and then I'll pick up on it from there, as opposed to hearing it from a lecturer standpoint. I think that you have different learners that you have to hit, obviously. But look, there's no one way to skin a cat, but you've been teaching wrestling for 15 years. So maybe I defer to you.
I want to see how actually this new NXT turn out, because of course they want to make it different than what it is right now. Okay. And what it is right now is just an extension of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. There again, I said it, from the beginning when NXT went national and went live. I said, man, it's going to be really hard for these guys to actually learn now, because the learning curve now is going to be on the job. Okay, you're gonna have to learn on the job. You can't, actually spend time to actually try to feel your way through this thing. Now it's on the job training. You're in the ring in front of millions of people on a monthly basis. So now the game has totally changed. So I think gearing down, changing that thing totally, and making it a form league that people can see. I don't know how you're going to be able to do that with it still being on USA, though.
That's the problem.
That's the part for me that I'm grasping with, as far as, man, how are you going to make it smaller and it's still on USA? So I'm going to sit back and, like everybody else, and wait and see what happens.
Yeah, that's definitely the problem. But they have obviously there's some new idea behind it. I don't know how long this idea has been cooked and developed, but we're going to see what they're able to bring. The logo, a lot of people were giving a lot of slack to the logo. People didn't like it. I liked how it looks personally. I think it's cool. I've seen the yellow for a while, but I kind of like how it is, and it has like you said, the Wale track, his new record, Down South Slangin'. I like it. I dig it.
I like. Okay, it's not anything that I don't like. Okay, but it's not something that changing the logo. Okay, how is that gonna make me feel a whole lot different? You know what I mean? Come on, it still says NXT. It just got some different painting and colors on it, bright things up. But you think the New Day came up with the logo?
Very colorful.
No, but I'm seeing it's very colorful. But I'm just wondering, what is the brand, the difference in the brand going to be? That's what I'm anticipating. Because there again, training facility has to be all about the training for these guys to get to the next level. and to let people in on it and let people see it, that's one thing. But it's how it's delivered. Maybe it's going to be more of a storyline based as far as what are these guys' goals are. How are they trying to get to that next level? Maybe it may turn into a reality show or something. I don't know, but that might be a good idea.
Did you get to see inside the redesigned Capitol Wrestling Center? Did you see what it looked like? The WWE put out a first look on their YouTube channel, so I didn't know if you got to see it.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
How did it look?
You want me? Can I share? You want to see what it looks like?
Check it out.
All right. So this is what the Capitol Wrestling Center will look like for NXT coming up here, starting September the 14th. Can you see that, book?
Yeah, I see it.
So this is what they're saying. If you can see what kind of their idea is of the redesign, as you said, a lot of colors. That was the little teaser.
You know what? I like the seating arrangement. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just waiting to see exactly what the brand is. Okay, the wrestling is one thing. Creating the stars is one thing. But the brand NXT, I want to see exactly what that is until next week. What's 14th, right?
14th. So not this Tuesday, but the following.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get a chance to check it out and see exactly, how this thing play out. But let's take a quick break. We're gonna come back and talk about Paul White. Stick around. We'll be back. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Talking a little bit of wrestling right now, a little special weekend edition of the Hall of Fame. Hey, before we move any further, Reality Wrestling, we got a big show going down tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m. bell time, Dayton, Texas. Going to be the first of a monthly series. It's going to be streamed live, guys. So check us out tomorrow, 4 o'clock Central Time. Live from Dayton. Reality Wrestling is going to be going down. The first of many shows from Dayton. And we got some big news for Reality Wrestling coming to you guys very, very soon. Reality Wrestling, man, I told you guys, we're trying to take this thing to another level as far as the road go. Did I just say that? The road on the go. Guys, stick around for that news. We're going to drop it here real soon as well. So we just want to thank everybody for supporting Reality Wrestling over these years, man. It's been a hell of a ride.
It's been awesome. I can't wait for the fans to hear all that news. And then tomorrow, Dayton, 4 o'clock bell time. So matinee show. You can come after church if you're there in the Dayton area and still make the show and have enough time to make it back home if you want to check out Paul White get into action against QT Marshall on that AEW pay-per-view. All out coming from Chicago, Illinois. Booker, you said you want to talk about Paul White.
Yeah.
And now, because of the internet, anytime we talk about AEW, I'm a little nervous. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's about to happen. No, I'm just kidding. What do you want to talk about with Paul White?
No, man, I just want to know your opinion, man, as far as what do you think about Paul White, I guess his in-ring debut at AEW there with the Gun Club. The Gun Club pretty much put the boots to him. That's Billy Gunn and his two sons. As well as QT Marshall and his group came out there and put it on Big Show. Actually, I can't. Let me stop saying Big Show.
Paul White. There you go.
Even when I say Paul White, I go, it's spelled Wight. You know what I mean?
It is.
I'm like, wait a minute, White is how do I pronounce this? Paul White. You know what I mean? But no, man, what do you think about that at that angle? Paul White and Billy Gunn. What do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting because it does seem like maybe they're using some of the star power from the past to add a little bit of interest to the feud. I didn't really see it coming. It came out of nowhere, which I guess makes it good. As far as Paul White and Billy Gunn are concerned, would it be a cool thing to see if they wrestle again? Sure. Like, I'm fine with it. It's not something I'm itching to see. If Paul White is only going to be wrestling so many times in AEW, because look, I mean, I don't know how old Paul White is. He can't be the youngest guy in the locker room just because he's been around for 20 plus years. So his matches are more limited. He's had surgeries. He's a big guy already. His matches are limited. I would prefer to see him work with guys who are younger and can really get the proverbial rub. And I think that the angle, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is just what I think. The angle was one, it's cool just to see Billy and Big Show. But the other thing is, do you think that they were doing that just so Paul White doesn't have to do a whole hell of a lot in the match on Sunday?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's hit him with the chair. Let's put the boots to him. He'll come in. He's selling the injury. So we don't have to have a 5-star classic match. We can have Big Show fighting from behind, even though he's a giant. He's a baby face, but he's 7 foot tall. How do you get sympathy on a guy like that? You jump him before him.
You know what? You can look at it like that. You can look at it as, hit me on the hip. First thing that happens, you know what I mean? As soon as we come in, take a steel chair, hit me on the hip as hard as you possibly can, okay? And then, people's going to wonder. But I do make it to the show, and I go out and I have one of the best matches of my career. The titanium hip is 100%. The show is back. Okay, it could be one of those deals right there. As far as Big Show, it's Paul White. Paul White saying, "Hey,
it's
man."
So hard to not call him Big Show.
Paul White saying, "Hey, man, now look here. I'm I've had the surgeries, but I'm good. I can go. I'm still the same Paul White that I always was, and I'm going to prove it inside that square circle." But the thing with me is the cliffhanger. Why did it happen? Why did Billy Gunn actually do it? And my thing is, perhaps old beef from WWE, old locker room beef. I never liked you anyway, man. Now you want to come over here and steal some money, and this is my chance. This is my shot. So I see that angle right there working for me. Is it something that people are going to get a whole lot out of as far as the match goes? I don't know, but I always talk about this. And I'm not going to, skip over it just because we're talking about showing Billy Gunn. Bruh, nostalgia is something people still buy into. We were just talking earlier about Oscar De La Hoya and Vitor Belfort.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, that fight would have went off. Damn it, it would have been a sold-out house in that arena to watch those two guys fight. You may not have gotten a whole lot out of it. A lot of people may not get a whole lot out of something like that, but it's a lot of people that will. So to create something like that, I'm not gonna hate on it or anything like that. I thought it was interesting to the point to where, like I say, man, okay, maybe the storyline got some, old beef. It's old beef, Big Show. Obviously, wasn't well liked in the locker room by Billy Gunn back in the day. Now, he's thinking everything's cool. Well, I'm going to show him it's not one of those type of deals. I don't know.
Look, and I wouldn't be against it if they do it. I just think that if you have only a few matches with Big Show per year, is that one the fans want to see? Maybe it is. It actually kind of makes me think, do you think, I was talking to somebody the other day about this, do you think that AEW would benefit from having more pay-per-view events? They have 4 per year currently. WWE has, I think, 12 to 14 per year. Now, I'm not saying that many, but maybe one every other month, like 6, because I think that you could build. Sometimes the storylines for me, they last a little bit longer in AEW, which is good and bad, right? It's good and bad. But I think that if you're not building up to these big moments or these big shows, uh, sometimes those stories can lose a little bit of the luster if you're not having the matches on the big stage to pay them off. This is just something I was thinking about. Do you think that 4 is still good for them?
I think for right now, 4 is perfect for them right now. I don't think AEW trying to think about the pay-per-view business too soon will pay off for them. I think building the foundation, building the infrastructure, building the fan base. Okay, I think that right there would be my more primary objective. If I had a company like that, that's what I would be thinking about right now. I will be thinking about my international presence, as far as really trying to get as many followers and fans from around the world to tune in to my product on a weekly basis. And from that point on, build in from out, opposed to trying to build out from in. I think they're doing a great job as far as that goes. Yeah. Seriously.
Okay. Just something that I thought about, but what are you looking forward to most, though? I mean, are you really looking forward to seeing what Big Show looks like in the ring for Paul? I'm going to get it right eventually, and I do apologize. Paul White. Are you looking forward to what he looks like in the ring at his? Because I don't know the last time we actually saw him do a full-on competitive official match. I don't remember the last one that we saw in WWE. So I'm interested to see what his ability is at this current juncture. He is a legend in the game.
Look, I don't want to get no heat from Big Show. I mean, Paul White. I'm gonna call him Big Show. Okay,
It's hard not to.
Hell, I want to do this. Is my show. Okay, but I don't want to get no heat with Big Paul White, Big Paul White. I don't get no heat with him or anything like that, because he's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Right? But I think AEW benefits from having a guy like Paul White, not because of his wrestling ability in the ring. Okay,
Sure.
I think the name Paul White, just say for instance, if it was Andre the Giant, okay, leaving the WWE, going somewhere else. Okay, you say that name, Andre the Giant. Damn it, that's a big deal. No matter whether he put his boots on or not, that's a big deal. Now, Paul White hadn't been built to that magnitude, but he's still a hell of an attraction. One of the biggest men that ever stepped inside the square circle. So like I say, it's not as wrestling or anything like that I'm looking forward to seeing, because I don't think I'm going to see anything different. There's no way you can see anything different.
Oh well, yeah, not this late in the game for him, but I think having him as though you just used the right word, an attraction, right? Hey, he's not wrestling every week. He might not wrestle every 6 months. He might wrestle one time a year. But that one time a year, it's going to be an attraction. But having him on the show, I think it's probably really cool for him and Tony Schiavone to be able to, on a weekly basis, do the commentary thing together, help put over the younger talent and do things on Dark Elevation. You say, though, his appeal for AEW might not be in the ring. Is the same true for the Mick Jagger of pro wrestling, Chris Jericho, who puts his AEW in-ring career on the line this Sunday against MJF? He says, if I lose, I'm on the commentary desk for the rest of my career. Jericho is in his 50s. I'm not saying this is it for him. I don't expect for it to be. But is Jericho going to eventually fall into the same thing that you're saying, to where just having Chris Jericho on the show, whether he's wrestling or not, is a benefit to the company?
Yeah, I think sooner or later, but I don't think that time is nowhere near for Chris Jericho. I think this guy still got maybe 5 years left to actually perform at a level to where he feel like it's okay for me to still be out here doing this. To the point to I was just watching him just come out and do the promo this week, and I thought, wow, man, Chris Jericho he still looked like he's freaking still the guy. You know what I mean?
And his promo was awesome.
Oh, but just the aura of him, coming out, his look around, you know what I mean? It's just Chris. It's just Chris Jericho. So for me right now, how old you say Chris is now?
He's got to be 52, 51, 52.
I think Chris got at least 3 to 5 years left till he
He's
fully
50.
50. He still got 5 years left till he fully wraps up his in-ring wrestling career. If he could just hold his body together, if he could just keep that part together, because I'm gonna tell you right now, after 50, things just start falling off. You know what I mean? Things just start breaking. You wonder what the hell's going on. You walking down the street fine, and then all of a sudden your knees just start hurting. You know what I mean? To the point where you need ice and 2 Advil. So if he can hold his body together, he could definitely roll for another 5 years. So I see Chris Jericho being a warrior to the business, and I don't see him sitting at any commentary desk anytime soon because, hey, man, he is the Ayatollah of rock and roller, the Mick Jagger of professional wrestling. It's Chris Jericho.
Yeah, and that promo that he cut on AEW Dynamite, it just shows why he's gonna go down as one of the greatest of all time if he's not already on that list. His body of work is second to none, really. Because if you find somebody who's as good in the ring and as entertaining on the microphone, still working today, right? I mean, he's got all the boxes checked, and he's been able to adapt his style as he got older. He's not going to hit that Lions song every Wednesday night anymore, right? But guess what he did? He's like, I'm going to give you a spinning back elbow. I'm going to adapt it, and I'm going to get it over to where when he hits that Judas effect, which doesn't make him leave his feet. He doesn't have to flip around. He doesn't have to do anything except pivot his hips.
Yeah,
but when he hits it, people act like a shotgun went off.
Trust me, at 50, pivoting of the hips. That's
You're speaking from experience.
You got to warm up for that, bro. You know what I mean? I'm serious. You got to warm up just for the pivoting of the hips. So definitely.
Well, he's a DDP yoga guy, and said that keeps him nice and stretched and loose for all these matches. But I think that, again, we talked about it the other day. I think he's one of the smartest people in the history of the industry. Chris Jericho, one of the smartest ever.
He definitely parlayed his career, man, in a direction that none of us ever did. Seriously. So I give Chris Jericho. He's doing his best work. Like I say, probably making his the most money that he's made in the business right now today at 50. And that, to say that about this business it speaks volume. It speaks volume for the guy, as well as not being one of those guys at 50 years old to not get caught up in the middle somewhere, to still be that over to where you can go out and be the leader of a company, because that's what Chris Jericho is. He's the leader of that company. Okay, all those other guys around, they could do whatever they want to do. But as far as the leader of AEW, his name is Chris Jericho. This guy definitely, and the reason I say that, leader, he leads by example.
Yeah.
He's the guy that go out and say, this is the way it needs to be done on a weekly basis if we're going to draw, people to watch this. And that's what he's doing. He's doing a hell of a job. Give him nothing but props.
So there's a lot of big matches going on this weekend. We talked about 2 of them: MJF versus Chris Jericho, Big Show, Paul White. Damn it to hell. Paul White versus QT Marshall. Main event: Christian Cage, Kenny Omega for the AEW World Title. Also, we obviously know CM Punk versus Darby Allin will be in effect.
That's the one I want to see.
I know. I'm well aware.
I want to see that Punk Darby Allin, man. That's the one I'm looking so forward to, man. You know what, though? I've been listening, and I know people they probably gonna want to eat me up about saying this, but I'm saying it anyway. CM Punk seemed like he has been, as of late in his promos, perhaps trying to soften the blow. Okay, as far as I want to test myself. I want to see how good I really am. I need to know if I still got it. I like that talk right there. Okay?
It's a smart strategy.
No,
right?
It's a very smart strategy.
Yeah.
And me personally, I like that. I like that direction that he's taking as far as that goes, to give people the expectations that, man, maybe he doesn't have it anymore. And then he come out and shock the house and get a crowd a great performance. So for me, yeah.
Well, because he knows what he's. Because look, him being in the ring, there is all kinds of anticipation to see CM Punk. I always talk about it's like the Seinfeld finale. You can't wait for it. What's going to happen? How are they going to end this great story? How are they going to restart the story that is CM Punk? And you have to tamper those expectations down, because if you don't go out there and have a Dave Meltzer 80-star match, people are going to be let down, right? But if CM Punk says, I want to see how good I really am, and I'm going to go against Darby Allin, who's the standard bearer, in my opinion, of the company today, if I can keep up with him, maybe I can still do this. I think you're right. It's a really, as you said, soften the blow, but tampering expectations so that when you go out there and over-deliver, you're under-promising and over-delivering. That's how you send the audience home happy.
Yeah. So I peeped that. I peeped that little strategy right there, So I'm like, okay, that's humbling. Because I must say, after you've been out of this business for a while, you don't know what your body's going to react to when you come back. You don't know, especially from a cardio perspective. You get out there in the middle of that ring, 5 minutes, 10 minutes in, and you wonder, wait a minute, this doesn't feel the same as it did 7 years ago.
Right.
But why am I sucking wind? Why, this the point right here. I remember when me and my brother, we did tag match against the Heavenly Bodies here at Reality of Wrestling. And I remember that match vividly like it was yesterday. And I remember at one point when I tagged my brother in and I got out on the apron and I was, waiting to get back in. And I was like, why can I not catch my breath out here? Why am I so damn tired, standing here on the apron? I did not want to get back in the ring. And I wrestled like 30 minutes that night. But I swear, man, everything was on cruise control. I was so freaking tired. But that's the one thing I think CM Punk is going to have in his favor, that cruise control button. If he can find that cruise control button, it will guide him to where he needs to go. And one thing about veterans, they know how to go out and throw smoke in mirrors and make you seeing something that you're really not. If CM Punk can have that ability to go out there and be able to do that, like I say, put it on cruise control and just feel himself through this thing, not try to go out there and do too much. Because remember, like I said, hey man, we go to that drop kick spot. You get to that drop kick spot, and you go, wait a minute, I can't do that drop kick spot. Throw that drop kick spot out. You got like Clint Eastwood said in the movie, what was it, Enforcer? A man's got to know his limitations. So that's what CM Punk is definitely going to have to know going into that match on Sunday night.
Yeah, Punk might get to the point where he's just like, Darby, throw all that out. Just do a coffin drop from the top. I'm going to move off the table.
Well, we just saw him do the GTS there. I'm going to tell you right now, it looked a little shaky. I'm just playing, man. I'm just playing. Everybody out there, they're going to want to report that. Get it straight.
I'm glad that we turned the YouTube chat off.
They're going to want to get that straight to the internet.
Straight to the sheets. I see it now. Booker T says GTS is a little shaky.
No, the GTS stinks. That's what
the GTS. Booker T says CM Punk out of shape ahead of match against Darby Allin. He's going to stink up the joint.
That's what the headline is.
Oh, I already know. And that's why we can put this clip out and be like, told you.
Oh man, we gotta get out of here, man. We
do.
That's a little bonus here. But like I say, guys, Road, Dayton tomorrow, 4 p.m. bell time. First of a monthly series, guys. It will be streamed live on the Road YouTube channel. So guys, check it out, be a part of it. It's gonna be like I say, once a month in Dayton. And we got a lot of more big news about reality wrestling coming to you guys very, very soon, guys. So stick around. Stay tuned to Twitter and get the latest news as far as that goes. But Bradley, appreciate you, man, for sticking out with me. Everybody in the chat, except the troll. I appreciate you guys for being a part of the show with me today as well. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Actually, no, on Monday.
Wednesday.
On Wednesday. Yeah, we got preempted again. Wednesday, we'll see you guys again. Right now, guys, we up out of here.
Can you dig it, you sucker?